This is a great week for our city that Stanley's come down and he's going to do the Coriolano Clarinet Concerto this weekend with the Louisiana Philharmonic. And so I thought we'd start off just by just jumping on this opportunity of talking to the man that this piece was written for. And the first thing out of my mind is, how did it come about?
Well, it sort of was an interesting story. The Philharmonic, the New York Philharmonic, wanted to commission a clarinet concerto, and their chairman asked me who would I like to write a concerto for clarinet. And after thinking about it for about a minute, I said Leonard Bernstein, who would have written a pretty good one, I think. The chairman said he would ask him, but he didn't. He was pretty sure he would be too busy to have it ready for the following season. But he did ask him, and he said exactly what the chairman had said, that he couldn't get it ready for the next season, but he recommended John Coriolano as a young talent and somebody that could really write a great piece, but he wanted to conduct it. So that's how it started, and they scheduled the dates for the first performance, which was December and early December, and it was to be 5 performances over a 10-day period, plus the rehearsals. And I guess it must have been a couple of months before the schedule performance. I think I got a movement of it, the first movement. It was fearsome looking stuff, I'll tell you. A lot of notes. And some time after that, maybe, I don't know, a month or something, second movement arrived. Because he couldn't find Coriolano, he disappeared. He went somewhere to another city to write. He didn't want to be disturbed, I guess, by where is the piece, and so forth. And finally, the second movement was very different than the first. It was an elegy to the memory of his father, who was a great violinist and who had been concertmaster of the New York Philharmonic for many, many years. Anyway, I think it must have been maybe a little over 3 weeks before the first rehearsal, the third movement arrived. And that was just as scary. And so I guess I just waded into it to try to, get something out of the page, and it was exciting time, I must say. So we played it the premiere, and the performance was recorded for broadcast, and subsequently it became part of a box set called Historic Broadcasts that the New York Philharmonic released, and it created quite a stir. The reviews were very positive and excited. They loved the style of the piece. They thought it was a very big serious work, not a lighthearted fluff. Anyway, about 3 years after that, the concerto came back again with Zubin Mehta, and we recorded it commercially and played it in New York and on 2 tours, one to South America and one to Europe. So I got to play it a lot in those days. Now, around that time, I also had the opportunity to play with other orchestras. I played it in multiple performances. I played it with the Toronto Symphony, with the Columbus Symphony, Kansas City Philharmonic, the San Antonio Symphony, and perhaps another one that I've forgotten about, with different conductors. And the piece sort of became a repertoire piece after that. People started, looking at it. There were some college performances, and they were serious, performances of major orchestras and so forth. And I'm very happy to be back playing this piece again, because like I said, it's been a long time, and the piece made a great impression at the time. and for the recording was Grammy nominated for my playing of it, and I'm happy to be here in New Orleans to try to bring this piece back again. I'll never forget what the music administrator of the Philharmonic at the time, he said he said he expected a light piece, and when this piece came, it was a major serious piece. It was like the rite of spring for a solo instrument and orchestra. It really taxed the limits, but I'm happy to be here to do it.
It's good having you here. Now, of course, you knew the composer from childhood on,
Just
and he
about,
certainly
yeah.
grew up listening to you play and listening to the Philharmonic.
Right. He did write. He included every instrument in the orchestra, is what he told me at the time. So he just used every percussion player. He used 4 trumpets. He used 5 French horns. But he didn't realize that we had 4 trombones finally. We only had 3 when his father was concertmaster. So he didn't write a 4th trombone part.
Now, after the premiere, did you do any revisions or any work with him or anything to change it?
I had to. He came out with a published edition because this was of course handwritten by a team of great copyists. Originally, that was before you put something into a computer and the notes would come out on paper. This had to be copied, so Schirmer, I guess it's his publisher, came out with a published edition of a piano reduction, a score, and so forth. And he said, "Would you look through the clarinet part, see if there's anything wrong here or there?" It was absolutely perfect except for one wrong note.
Well, I have to tell you all, it's going to be an amazing performance Saturday night. I know that we had our first rehearsal today with the orchestra, and it seemed like we were making mistakes, but mostly it was because we were dropping our jaws or just in awe of what was going on with Mr. Drucker playing. That it's such a fantastic piece that I hope you all will come hear us on Saturday night.
I hope so.
Would you like to hear some clarinet players?
Love to.
Shall we?